nefarious, but there's also such great things that you can do with visual data to try and get people to integrate.
Yeah, I think we need to be clear, it's just a tool. And you're tackling a huge problem that's far bigger than the tool can ever track. And you have to be working with traffic and a whole lot of other organizations to really tackle poaching. It deals to poverty, it deals to community values, it deals to livelihoods and all kinds of things. It's just a tool to get the rangers doing their jobs better. And I think in that it's incredibly valuable, but we shouldn't overestimate that it can tackle the end-to-end problem of poaching.
I mean, if it talks to ArcGIS software, then you can set up limits what data you can share, what data you can't. And once in the cloud, in terms of hacking, I don't think it would be much easier to steal a computer from a park office than to break into the Azure Google Cloud.
Much easier to bribe.
So, exactly. Yeah. So I think the technological solutions could be quite robust.
One other question. So,
No, one other question.
maybe that will lead into a different direction. So.
Question for that?
Yeah, I've got about 3 things. First, is it sensible for anybody now to be learning Mist, or is that not going to help them with this? They should just wait another few months and do this when it's available for public use.
From that, go on.
Well, you can already download the beta version of this, so if you want to get to know it, you can download it and start playing with this straight away. None of us are saying Mist is useless and you shouldn't use it. We're just saying this is a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, this is better. So when I recommend to protected areas what to use, I'm going to recommend this, not Mist.
I would, yes.
Is it going to help them use this if they start using Mist now? No. You don't. If people who you're saying about how it can be added on to Mist, but the skills that people have learned as to how to use Mist, that won't give them an easy access.
No, ultimately this will be easier to learn,
right,
as it were. So we're saying that those who are already using Mist, please continue to use Mist and don't stop until this is ready to transfer. Those who have not started, it's probably best going directly to Smart.
Okay, so the second thing is, I've been a long-term periodical evaluator to a large conservation project. And myself and my predecessors have been recommending in every 6-monthly evaluation you should be using Mist. And several years down the line now, this has never happened. Because the key thing for either this or Mist to take off is somebody within the system has got to be really motivated to push it forward. And you've talked a lot about how once it starts, you're going to get peer pressure to be using it. But getting that first start going. Now, I understand that when you've got a protected area which has a site-based external assister, that can provide the impetus. But when you have systems without anything like that going on, can somebody like me, who just makes a short visit and recognises that this would be useful, can we recommend to them, you should think about doing this? And can we also say, I can contact this smart partnership for you, who will help get you started, and you would basically be able to take up encouragement, or is that just asking too much?
No, I think there's a couple of points there. I mean, the first thing is there are a number of, you're absolutely right, unless there is at least an individual at a site who is genuinely interested, regardless of their terms of reference and their job instruction, and still working within a very rigid system, it's not going to work. On the other hand, we've been in a number of sites whereby as soon as you show people this is how it's used and this is what it does from other sites, it's been an amazing uptake of it in previously rather dormant or situations. Your point about so if people can go and just have those conversations at early stage, if anyone sees a shimmer of a glint in anyone's eye of interest, then at the moment, before we get into the long-term business planning models, there is effort and resources around there to help provide that startup. So if it's the place I'm thinking of, then And if you do manage to get a glimmer of in anyone's eye, then the consortium could certainly respond to that by following up with resources and training.
Certainly, and there will obviously be all the training and explanation PowerPoints and things like that on the website. So even
And that needs motivation to go to the internet and find them.
Sure, but you could go there, could take those PowerPoints and present them, and then get them a little bit interested. So that gives us an opportunity.
There's no doubt about it. We found that MIST adopters, there's a bunch of them champions who are early adopters, and that's where MIST has gone so far. Absolutely, and those folks have also needed mentorship. Absolutely. That's why we're really looking to see how large we can expand the consortium. Because as Barney said, the more organizations and the more people who are smart aware and have got smart trainers, the more likely it is that the whole consortium is going to be able to provide some of that nudging and mentorship that's needed.
It's such an obviously good thing, if I can put it that way, that it'd be quite interesting that in a sense, lack of uptake tells you as much as uptake does. And it'd be rather interesting on your homepage there to have a map of countries or protected areas.
Who are using it?
The early adopters.
Absolutely.
And sort of not name yet shame, if you like.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And one of the reasons for coming up with a standardized tool, a standardized language, was actually to have that peer pressure that look at all the places that are using this and go, wait a minute, why is Gabon not using it?
Exactly.
Just another suggestion. I mean, my first thought when I started seeing your materials and branding is that you're a software house trying to push a product on us, and we see that all the time. But you're actually not. You're WCS and you've got a good product you're trying to...
We're not, we're a consortium.
You're a consortium of good guys trying to push something else. But it may be worth just looking at how you brand and present yourselves, that you don't get that switch off of another software house trying to push something.
Yeah,
and absolutely.
And once you hooked us in on the free offer, how much are we going to have to pay for the rest of our life?
And to be just suggested to be smart is a whole ranger patrolling philosophy training.
Absolutely.
And it's got a software component because that helps.
But it's the philosophy.
But it's the philosophy training that's the critical bit. The software just makes the analysis and the understanding of the data much easier. But frankly, without the training and the philosophy, the software doesn't do you anything. It doesn't do you anything at all.
And it's a very tough issue, that, and we've been very cautious. The only reason the way the government's going to adopt this, and again, I'm sorry to bang on government, but that's obviously who we want, is if they feel it doesn't belong to anyone, if they can feel that they can take ownership of it. And so we've been very cautious in that we desperately do not want this to be seen as a WCS tool or a product and we actively encourage governments to, in a sense, change it as well. Thailand has got their own smart, which actually isn't actually to do with this software, it's to do with their training courses and their approach and their intelligence networks and the whole package. And that's great. And if another country wants to go and call it, I think Latin America, there's some calls to call it something completely different in that. That's absolutely fine, as long as people feel ownership over it. That's ultimately what's going to decide if it's successful or not.
India as well.
And you'll notice that on the user guide, this is the small brochure. This was targeted users. There's no organizational branding at all.
Yeah.
And that was intentional because we really want this to be seen as an open consortium. Anyone can join. Anyone can use this. This is really just a darn clever idea that we want to pitch.
Yeah, I think $5,000 for the software will be a barrier. I understand that distributing the free, it has its minuses, but I think putting $5,000 in the software will be a major barrier. This is just based on experience which we have.
Absolutely. But and again, that's the business model, the business discussion that we're hosting in DC later. We'll discuss exactly those kind of things. And again, this is not for profit, but again, how we get people to value something, well, it's not being put on by.
And also, it's not just governments on that. Some of our smaller partnership members at the moment also have been put off that longer term discussions of being part of the partnership that they had to pay annually. Yeah, WF, $5,000 a year, no problem, we can pay that to be part of this partnership. North Carolina Zoo, can they really commit that? Can they commit that every year for the next 10 years? Probably not. So this is why, exactly why we've set aside a whole week to talk about these issues, because we want this to survive, expand, change, adapt, but be a sustainable model for it. And preferably, we don't want anybody to have to pay for the software. Yeah. But if we do that, that means there's a lot more pressure on the partnership members to make sure there's an endowment fund or there's the donors lined up or something. So that's exactly the conversation we're going to have. And it might be that we say partnership members have to pay, but governments don't, or vice versa. Remember that no one pays, but it means we need $500,000 in an endowment fund that will give us 20 years worth of activities.
Yeah.
That's exactly the conversation we're going to have. We'll do that in November. We'll publish that as a document for everyone to see. It'll go up on the website so everyone can see what our model is and where we're trying to take it.
But you probably will need to set up a technical desk or something where people can call in or send emails. Because whatever is going to go wrong, it will go wrong.
That is part of the plan, so we will have
Nothing's going to go wrong.
That actually is part of the
So far, we have not.
Jake, you get the last word.
Well, I hope not, but you know, $5 an app. I mean, if no one's willing to spend $5 on it, then they're probably not particularly interested. But I mean, that, you know, you'd have to do sort of the economics, obviously, but you know, that's one way. That's a very reasonable. That's not going to put anyone off from serious.
We're actually going to piggyback it on to Angry Birds. so that's just going to work great. Well, guys, thank you very much for spending a couple of hours with us and letting us tell you a little bit about Smart and giving us some very valuable feedback. As I said, there's in South Africa just now, there's a training of trainers going on, and first pilot of some of the training materials. The website is live. You can download the beta version of the software. There will be training materials up on that by the end of this month. And by the end of the year, we hope to have the end of the year, early part of next year, we hope to have the full first version, public version available on the web. So again, thank you all very much for coming. We're very happy that you did. We hope it was useful.
Yeah, thank you. Please keep in touch with us. Our email addresses, we can give you cards if you haven't got it. But keep
if you haven't got brochures, if you haven't got stuff, please do take them. If you would like to take additional ones to give to your colleagues, we would love you to do that.